Hi, my name is Vasanthi Swetha. I will be reading out a few pieces of poetry, some short, some moderately long, mostly around the themes of liberty. I have been writing poetry for about 7 to 8 years now, and I would think that poetry is my strongest medium of expression. So, the first poem that I will be reading out is called The Butterfly Effect. The Butterfly Effect. A yellow butterfly tickles my neck and settles on my collarbone. I turn into a statue with a racing heart. My eyes focuses on its meticulous spots. My breath softer into its wings. A tiny little creature carrying so many parts of this earth decides to settle on my body today. When it flies away, it will take a little bit of my brown and leave behind a little yellow. Someone someday will try painting it white. We'll both remember that day that the hurricane this time is at home. In the resistance to surrender to canopies of shame that the sun hasn't broken into yet, but small, courageous butterflies have. The second poem that I'm going to be reading is called Silence. Do you remember the loudest thunder you heard in your life? Well, I don't. But I remember all the silences I've held too close to my chest, fearing any syllable that escapes my lips might sound like the beginning of a war. And then you ask, why didn't you speak up earlier? If I did, what would you have done? Believed? The next poem is a short one. It's called Paper Cuts. Paper cuts are maybe revenge for every axe that touched trees without consent. The next poem that I will be reading is called The Women in My Poetry. I hope the women in my poetry are made of whatever they want to be. I hope my words don't butcher their silence. I hope my poems give them enough space to sit however they want to and help them lean on and diminish the noise of debates about bleeding bodies of women, but don't look at these women as primary stakeholders. I hope my poems let them choose their own words of pain, of cramps, or of rest. I hope my poems let them choose their own words of pain, of cramps, or of rest. I hope my poem is a hot water bag. I hope my poem is a bed to stretch, to sleep, or to read, without having to reiterate that women's bodies are not a scale that measures strength and tolerance. I hope my poem is a soundproof room on days my women don't want to listen to any of you. The last poem that I will be reading is a very short 4-liner. It's called I Am My First Love Story. I am my first love story. That's where I'll place my bookmarks for all the men and women who come after. Thank you for listening.